on developing leaders in Rotary. Two quick housekeeping items. First, please mute yourself. And secondly, District Governor Mark will be monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions, please post them there so that he can monitor the questions. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Dhamay Kanthan. And Dhamay is the chair of our District Leadership Development Committee. And I'm going to turn it over to Dhamay to introduce tonight's session. Welcome, Dhamay.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here and giving us an opportunity to share with you what we are up to. So again, like Beth said, my name is Dhamay Kanthan. I'm from the Scarborough Twilight Rotary Club, and I have the privilege of leading this very passionate group of Rotary actors and Rotarians in our quest to build Rotary for the future. Our intention is to establish an effective leadership framework in our district that includes engaging the younger generation. So the intention today for this call is to do two things. One is to have a conversation with you to inquire into what great leadership is, especially in Rotary, and then to share with you what we are doing to create an effective leadership development framework and get your feedback. So those are the two things that we want to get from the next hour. And so this is how the next hour is going to go. We will share with you the committee's plan and goals, but before we do that, we get to hear from our own Valerie Wafer speak on her take on leading in Rotary. After she speaks, there'll be an opportunity to interact, and we really want to hear from you. We want to hear your take on what you see is working with leadership development in Rotary today, and then what's not working, so we can use your feedback to guide the committee's work. And so when the time comes after Valerie speaks, we'll figure out how to get your comments and questions and feedback. Today, Caitlin Almeida, who is from Rotary Toronto, is my partner in leading this call today. So with that, Caitlin, I'm going to hand it over to you to introduce Valerie.
Great, thank you very much, Dhamay.
Hello.
It is my honor. Hi, Christian.
Chris Ashtela, Parkour Rotary, Asha Parkour Rotary.
Welcome to the call.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
So everyone, it is my honor and an absolute pleasure to introduce Rotary International Director Valerie Wafer as our keynote speaker this evening. You may know Valerie as our zone's Rotary International Director, and you may also know her as a friendly and passionate Rotarian that you've crossed paths with in years prior. Valerie is the past district governor of our district, District 7070, and a strong female leader in the Rotary family. She is intelligent, inquisitive, supportive, innovative, and a forward-thinking individual with a remarkable willingness to learn and to collaborate. I have had the pleasure of getting to know Valerie over the past year or so through the development of the Rotaract Canada Multi-District Information Organization, one of many examples where Valerie has sought to support and encourage leadership, empowerment, and creative thinking throughout our zone. Knowing Valerie's passion for innovation, collaboration, and including all voices as part of the conversation, I am confident that Valerie will provide us with inspirational insights which we can reflect on and incorporate into our lives as we each work to further develop as leaders. Recognizing all of the changes that 2020 has brought thus far, and all of the opportunities that lie ahead for innovation, there is no time like the present to hear from Director Valerie to learn about opportunities to lead in Rotary, to benefit our personal development, and to enable us to better serve one another. So with that, please join me in virtually welcoming Rotary International Director Valerie to speak with us today.
Caitlin, thank you so much for that really, really lovely introduction. And I just love hanging out with you guys. I see so many familiar faces and it just warms me. It's so awesome. Thank you so much for the invitation, Dhamay, to be with you on your inaugural rollout of this amazing initiative and your amazing team. So first, I want to start by congratulating the Leadership Development Committee on the strategic framework and direction that they've developed, because it's outstanding. Dhamay shared it with me last week, and an incredible amount of thought and work and leadership has gone into the development of this platform that I know they're going to share with you. And to the district leaders of 7070 who had the foresight to see the importance of leadership with focused intent. Well done. I mean, that's really great. I know that this happened in the last couple of years. There's been a few different new innovative committees added to the district structure, and you are just rolling along with what is needed in this world we live in and prior to even COVID. So well done there. You know, we know that leadership can happen organically, but it's so much stronger when leadership is intentional and succession planning is in place. And that is such a key. So, you know, we are living in a time of change. And if you've heard me speak before, and I was with you at past District Governor Beth's conference last year, you know that this is a subject I'm really passionate about. Strategic and sustainable change. Well, now we are experiencing change, and it's change on steroids. You know, I wish COVID was over, I really do. But the fact that it has lasted as long as it has so far has given us an opportunity for a new perspective, for new ways of meeting, a chance to reevaluate what's important to us, a chance to connect with specific interest groups on a global Zoom platform, and a chance to hear from international speakers for a different perspective. And perhaps the biggest transformation is a chance to embrace technology, which is what's really going to move us forward. So, you know, I believe, honestly, that leadership at the club level will be crucial to where our organization ends up in the next 5 years at the club level, because Rotary is a bottom-up organization. So let's think about that statement, because we quite often don't feel like we have the direction or we have a say in Rotary, but when in fact we absolutely do. If we look at our organization and we look at the fact that, you know, we have the secretariat, the board, the trustees, that's kind of like our head office. And the clubs are like our sales offices. There are service departments and our company giving or our charity arm of where we operate. But, you know, it's the clubs that have their finger on the pulse of their communities. They know their customers, which is your Rotarians. They know what our communities look like, and they know what drives it and what the needs are in those communities. Now, our head office supports us by developing one brand, one message, which is important to any entity with many branches internationally, one voice. But as we know, each club in our communities are very unique. And I know in 7070, we have Rotary Whitby Sunrise and Rotary Club of Whitby, and we complemented each other, but we were also very, very different. And that was great, because competition is great, choice is great. And I think that that's why we are driven from the club level. We are deciding what we represent, even within a very either similar demographic or very different demographic. So really what I'm getting at is that the strength is our clubs, and clubs develop leaders that go on to serve in many levels of our organization, but it all begins at the club level. And as our clubs evolve, expand, and diversify, we need to keep our focus on the bigger picture. And that may be our governance model. And again, I give compliments to your district leadership, because you recognized that the current committee structure needed to be tweaked. It needed to be added to. And I'm sure one of the things that we quite often forget is as we add, we also have to take away. So, you know, we have to make sure that our governance structure is not so cumbersome that we get bogged down in our own quagmire of, you know, bureaucracy, if you will. And it's really important to also know that we have a diverse skill set from our members. We need to take advantage of that. So the question is, how do we develop those leaders? And, you know, I always find this interesting, and I'm sure many of you have been involved in Rotary Leadership Institute or President-elect training. And I always find it interesting when I'm standing at the front of the room and I'm facilitating a course, and there's a group of Rotarians in the room, and we start to talk about leadership. And there's a pause, and there's blank stares around the room. And when you ask if you're a leader, you ask the general population in the room, are you a leader? They know that they're a leader in their business. We all run our own businesses. We all have, you know, great opportunities within our business to grow and to be that effective leader. But we don't always see ourselves as leaders in our volunteer capacity. And I always find that really interesting because we bring our skill set to everything we do. And that's why our organization was based on our vocation. But I always think it's funny, and many of you will experience this, that when you walk through the door of your Rotary meeting or a committee meeting or a district meeting, sometimes we always seem to leave that hat at home and we don't always talk from a corporate or a business standpoint. So, you know, I think that we have to look at ourselves as leaders in our volunteer capacity, but we also need to bring that skill set that's, you know, in our toolbox every single day at work. And so, you know, it's important that we continue to exhibit those vocations and those skills. So, you know, if you ask the same group of people, do you see yourself as a volunteer leader? The answer should be absolutely, because every day in our Rotary clubs, whether we're, you know, in charge of organizing that month's meetings, or we're chairing a major committee, or we're on an election committee for our club president, we are all exhibiting leadership capabilities in our volunteer role. So let me go back to my original statement where I said that leadership at the club level will be crucial to where Rotary is in 5 years. And basically when you think about that, it's business 101. Leadership equals vision and strategic thinking. Leadership equals succession planning. And leadership equals innovation, right? Another aspect of leadership is the investment in our team. And in our business, we always help develop skills and knowledge, and we promote from within. If we ever want to promote, we like to promote from within because we know the benefits of developing leadership within our organization or within our clubs. Because first of all, if you promote from within, you know what you're getting, right? You've developed leaders in your club and it helps to build bench strength. It's a chance to work together, complementing personalities and using those vocational skills. When we ask a brand new member to be president next year, there's no knowledge of Rotary and there's no knowledge of the club's skill strength that they can rely on in that role. Another reason to promote from within is that they will know what they're getting into. So that person you've asked to be president when they've just not quite walked in the door, but been a Rotary member for a short period of time, because if they don't know what they're getting into and they don't know what their support network looks like, we're setting potential leaders up for failure when they're not ready. So when we promote from within, the member has had a chance to see and understand that support network in the club and the district. And the other great thing about promoting from within and building up that bench strength is that others will see the path and the process and the support network and will aspire to lead as well. So with the right materials, support, and recognition, others will want to be part of the team. Because poor volunteer leadership, and unfortunately we've all experienced it, leads to a potential exodus, right? Poor club morale could ultimately affect a club's reputation, not only with its members, but even sometimes within the community, because we know that that disgruntled customer of anyone in our business doesn't just keep that to themselves. They tell 10 people and it continues. So it's really important that we are supporting our members and building them up for success. And when we have the mentoring to create the bench strength and we look forward to 2 or 3 years down the road, it also tells our club members that we value their potential as leaders and that we will support them. So, you know, leadership looks different to a lot of different people. And my other favorite question to ask a group of people when they're sitting in front of me is, are leaders born or can they be developed? So some are born, like Queen Elizabeth, perhaps. You're born into it. But I will say that at 27, she wasn't ready to lead. So we all continue to lead. And that's the beauty of putting yourself outside of your comfort zone. Because I have to say, the minute I stop developing will be the day I call it quits. And I mean that literally. Because for me, Rotary is personal development. And that is my personal what's in it for me. And when we don't offer the value or the what's in it for me to our members, it leads to a general feeling of apathy and lost interest. You know, just like when we're in our jobs, when we stay in the same position for a long time without motivation, without development, we look for another company for challenge and fulfillment. So, you know, just like in business, we will lose a high-performing volunteer in the process. We need to get people engaged. We need to understand what drives them and what their value is that they're looking for in Rotary. And, you know, the other reality for us in Rotary is that we change our leader at the club level every year. So if we look at the club president as the company CEO, only in charge for 1 year, the problem becomes quite evident, because 1 year is not enough time to evaluate the talent pool, mentor future leaders, and provide resources. So to me, that's why this district committee that you are forming is a positive step in the right direction. You're going to be creating that bench strength and offering those skills. You know, I'll just share with you, and many of you may know this, but I joined the Rotary Club of Whitby in 2005. By January of the next year, of 2006, I was asked to be on the board. My answer was no, I only want to be a club Rotarian. But then President-elect Des Newman, everyone probably knows Des Newman, or a lot of people do, he sat me down and gave me his talk. And if you know Des, you know that this is a combination of a pep talk and a stern message. So of course, before I knew it, I was president in 2008, 3 years after joining Rotary. And then during my president year, incoming District Governor Doug Byers at the time called me up and asked me to be an assistant governor. And I said, Doug, I'm still club president. I'm not even done being club president, but it was the best thing that could have happened to me. And I won't go into the next steps of, you know, the development of how I got to be RI director, but the point is that we are all responsible to tap someone on the shoulder, to recognize leadership and help mentor and develop that leadership. We are stronger when we see the potential in others. It isn't a competition for the next role. And I know sometimes that really gets in the way of promoting someone who's the right person for the role. In fact, it is a compliment to be asked. It is a compliment to be tapped on the shoulder. But to me, and I'm sure to many of you, it's even more rewarding to recognize and mentor a future leader and watch their development. It's so rewarding, and it's the right thing to do. This committee will provide the necessary framework and skills development to achieve the succession planning that is necessary in your district. And you know, my example isn't very unusual. President of a club within 3 years of joining Rotary. But I think you can see that ultimately it is not healthy, and it doesn't build that healthy pipeline. At Rotary International at the board level, we recognize we need to change as well. Not only with the changes to membership types, club types, but also to our governance model. So we need to look at things and the roles within our organization and ask, you know, why do you have to be a Rotarian for 7 years before you can be district governor? What if you're the CEO of a multinational organization already? And what if your skill set will drive engagement and membership? And then when you are district governor, why do you have to visit every club during your year as district governor? How is this and many of the other responsibilities going to attract a younger working professional? So we're asking ourselves at the board level and on the Operations Review Committee, are these roles too cumbersome? Should they be more refined to concentrate the effort to bring us value and to move our organization forward? Our diversity, equity, and inclusion statement and our strategic plan and priorities need to align with providing an opportunity for us to have the right people in the right role at the right time in their life and the right time of our Rotary trajectory. So we need to make space for young leaders, entrepreneurs, and forward thinkers, because you know they are not leaders of tomorrow. They are leaders today, and they want a seat at that table. So I'll just close by saying that I will suggest to you that developing leadership at the club level is not just a nice to have, it's a must to have if you want to see your club, your district, and Rotary be sustainable. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Valerie. Thank you. Thank you for taking time to share your thoughts on leading in Rotary. You know, for me, you are the example of what we want to create here in our district. It's a clear leadership path for developing ourselves as great leaders as we are in service, right, as we do work. And then really, how do we develop ourselves to make that Rotary vision of creating a world where people unite to take action and create lasting change? How do we make that a reality? So really what I got from your speaking is creating that whole leadership is vision and strategic thinking, create that bench strength at the club level, take the time. And then I also heard towards the end about having the right people doing the right thing at the right time in their life, which is really a short sentence, but it's a big deal how to get that working, right? So anyways, we've as a committee, we have looked at leadership from different areas, and we were put together as a group by the district team, and really what we came to is, and we were given a mandate, and what we came to is leadership for us is bringing clarity to where we're going. So just even the fact that you can say, here's where we are going, the top of the mountain or this spot, that's part of leadership, just that having that clarity and speaking that clarity. And then the second piece that we thought was important is creating an environment where we have the freedom to be our best, to bring our strengths, and to bring our unique gifts, whether it's our vocation or whether it's something else, so that we can help together get us to that spot we are heading to. So these are the two parts that we were looking at from as we created our actions. And we also realized that there's so much out there. Leadership is such a big topic. There's so many books. There's so much out there. So where do we even start? And so we said we'll focus on the people and not the plan and the regular stuff. So because if we can inspire the people, they'll have the answers, what works for them. So that's the context. So so today really. This all came about from talking to Beth. Beth was sharing a book with us, with me actually, a book called Boundaries for Leaders, Results, Relationships, and Being Ridiculously in Charge by Henry Cloud. And there's a quote there, and I wanted to share that with everyone, just to have them think, and from what you had shared already, Valerie, just to have people consider, inquire into what great leadership might be for them and get their feedback. So the quote goes, there are two human drives. One is connection and the other is aggression. Aggression here does not mean anger. It means initiative and energy used in the service of goals. So everything we do is whether relational or goal directed, or ideally both. Basically, we are lovers and workers. We have relationships and we do things. We connect and we accomplish tasks, care and drive, be and do, love and work. The love requires a positive relational tone, and the work requires drive, expectations, and discipline. An integrated leader does both at the same time in a way where one affects the other. The problem in leadership is when we do one without the other. So we thought this was really a quote that kind of said how difficult this topic is, because it's two extremes. One is that you got to be clear-headed and have that strategic thinking and vision and where you're headed. And then the next piece is that you have to build that relationship with people. You got to be this person who's not that focused, but it's more of a person who's a lover, not a worker. So how do we have both of this? And to be a good leader, you got to have both of this in balance, when to use what. So anyways, we thought we'll use the next few minutes to hear from the people. And we want to hear from you on what you think is key to developing great leaders in Rotary, and what's working in the district today and what's not working for you. So there's two ways to do this. One is put your comments in the chat. That'd be awesome. And then Caitlin will share that with us. But originally we planned to open up the lines and get a few people to kick off. So I think while people are putting your comments in, so please add that, because we're going to use your feedback to guide the committee. Yes, Mary Lou, I just saw your comments. Yes, we will share this quote in a follow-up email. And so again, the question was, what do you think is key to developing great leaders in Rotary? What's working in the district today and what's not working for you? And I'm actually going to put Mark, because he's district governor and he's got the biggest role. And Mark, how would you answer this question as others are typing in their comments?
So just to repeat, the question is about leadership, and I was doing something else on my phone, so I missed the question. And I'll be very honest. So
okay, all right. Okay, I'll repeat it for you, Mark. So you got to listen this time. So what do you think is key to developing great leaders in Rotary? So you heard Valerie speak about the things that she felt was important for us to focus on. So what do you think? And then what do you see is working today in the district today? And
Absolutely.
what's not working? Yeah, what's not working?
Okay.
Those are the
First off, when Val was talking about people who tapped her on the shoulder, Valerie tapped me on the shoulder to be an AG. So I always am very grateful to Val for doing that. So thank you, Val. At the time, I didn't know anything about the district, and here I am today. So thanks for that, Val. I think it's about opportunities, and I think you have to be proactive. There is a bit of work to do to look around to see who has the potential, who has the energy and the ambition and the drive, and to afford that person the opportunity. And I think at a district leadership team level, I think that's part of your job, is to identify those particular people and also give them the pathway and the opportunities to continue to excel and exceed in the area. So I think we're consciously doing that now. The district leadership team for the past several years has consciously tried to look across the district and identify those people. And I look across this Zoom session here, there's many of those people on the call that we've said, yeah, given the opportunity, they certainly could be an RI director. They certainly could be a district governor. They could potentially be what Will Wilkinson was several years ago, president of RIs. Why not, right? So I think it's consciously looking for those people and those opportunities for them. I do have a question here from Neelam. Neelam states, during the pandemic, Rotarians have managed very well to connect with each other virtually. In the months ahead, as many of us stay in the virtual mode or a hybrid mode, how do we ensure that we just don't talk to each other, and stay connected with and strengthen relationships with the broader community? So even strengthen relationships, but how do we identify opportunities for people to continue to grow while we're meeting virtually? Who wants to take that on?
I'll take a shot at it.
Okay.
All right. This is a really great time to have those conversations with your fellow Rotarians as to why they joined Rotary and what keeps them in Rotary. It's a great opportunity to just find what their values are and what will keep them engaged. So then, the sky's the limit. So we have a really robust Rotary International Learning Center. Is a great opportunity to go onto the Learning Center to, I quite often say you could almost use it like your book club for a Rotary Club meeting. So everyone's homework is to go and look at the adult harassment module on the Learning Center, and then we'll have a discussion about what that means to you and have you experienced this in your workplace, or just really constructive conversation. And those are always learning opportunities. But I think that when we come back to Rotary and meeting, whatever that may look like, it's a real opportunity for us to take a look in the mirror and look through the windscreen, not the rear view mirror, and ask our Rotarians what they want their Rotary Club experience to look like. And that will really to help kind of build those opportunities. We're seeing a lot of cause-based clubs, people really looking into their communities and seeing what their community needs and being very driven and very connected in that way, and using using their experience from work. So I see this as a really great opportunity to have those conversations.
If it's okay to speak up, I don't know whether we have to get in line here. But Mark, one of the things, I've had 2 people approach me in the last week. With the new work environment and people working at home, one person literally told me they will now not be commuting for 16 hours a week, and that they now have time for Rotary and they're very interested in joining. They happen to be a Crown attorney in Toronto. It also happens to be my son-in-law, but people have time. This very meeting with 99 people would not have happened if Valerie would have driven down from there. But look how easy this is. And I think much of the time we can save, we have to invest in other areas. And I think this is a great conversation. Valerie, your words were very much appreciated. Dhamay, your introduction was great. But the opportunity now, there are many more opportunities that are coming because of the time that people now have, that they're not sitting on GO trains and on the 401. That's all.
True.
Yeah. And I'm one of those people. Go ahead, John.
I think that one of the disadvantages of the virtual meetings, if you're trying to assess whether someone has the potential to be a leader, to me, you do need to be in front of them there. I always, in my life, studied body language. I hear what someone's saying to me, but their body is saying something else. So, when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, you do need that face-to-face situation. So it's harder to assess people in terms of leadership potential from virtual meetings.
John, to add on to that, I was in a leadership development course earlier today, and one of the things the facilitator had mentioned was that 90% of communication, I'm quoting them, this doesn't mean I agree with the statistic, but 90% of communication is based on body language. And for that reason, he said it's very important that everybody be on video. And he said that he would reinforce it, especially for that course more than any other course, because he said, I'm trying to set you all up to be leaders and you have to be able to lead by example. So I thought, especially based on your comments on body language in today's session, that was particularly relevant. And I'll take this opportunity to read out a few comments from the chat. So we've had a lot of great conversation that's been happening, including comments that leadership is honoring and recognizing the contribution that each person has to play. Leaders must be approachable, willing to listen, willing to consider change, and willing to take charge. Succession planning in Rotary in the district is excellent, and think about all the district governor roles, district governor, DGE, DG nominee, etc., and the past district governor and how they all interconnect. Invite Rotaractors to join Rotary, and also invite Rotaractors to join weekly meetings. It was also noted that some of our best COVID responses in the district have been included in active leadership of Rotaract members. And that by being a Rotaract member, someone's noted that it is one thing to invite Rotaractors to join weekly meetings, but it is another thing to offer them what they will get out of attending it. And to add on to that, I would say, don't only invite Rotaractors to join the Rotary meetings and events, but also Rotaractors, please encourage Rotarians to take part in your club's initiatives, and Rotarians, please take hold of that opportunity and really make it a dual effort. There's a question in here, Valerie. One of the Rotarians noted that reference to the Rotary Leadership Institute session, and Salim, please feel free to unmute yourself and elaborate. Salim noted that, Valerie, your presentation was exceptionally helpful, and he's taken many notes, and is wondering if any of your prepared remarks can be shared with himself or anybody else in the district.
Well, sure, I can make them available. Funny enough, Salim, part of that speech was from an RLI event I went to in New York when they asked me to come and speak. So it was partly from there. So that's kind of funny that you picked up on that. I can make it available for sure.
I'd like to make a point, please, about leadership. What I found in COVID when it first began, I should say, preface this by saying I've been president for the last 3 years, and a new president took over in July of this year. And we were very active in service. That's been our big issue because we're not a huge club, and we're seniors, let's put it that way. And so we were feeding the hungry twice a month. We were doing physical things. When this COVID came about, it was very stressful on us at the beginning because we just didn't know what to do. So we started off going on Zoom very reluctantly because, again, we weren't the most communicative by computer. And, you know, we have children that belittle us for not knowing how to use a computer. But we sort of figured it out fairly quickly. And not only that, but our new, I'm from Toronto, North York, our new president, Randall, decided that he should invite anybody who would listen at 7 in the morning to our meetings. So we've had all kinds of other guests who otherwise would never have woken up at 6:30 in the morning and driven to some place. So we have outside guests. We have speakers every single week at our meetings. And one thing I want to mention was that the Rotary district gave a special grant just because of COVID. And for the first time ever, it was still while I was president, I filled out a form about how to get a Rotary grant. And again, I had only been a member of the club for 1.5 years before I became president. So when you talk about learning how to do stuff, I was learning on the fly. And all of a sudden, about, I guess, less than 2 weeks ago, Lars sent me an email saying, congratulations, you got the grant. So my club is just jumping for joy. We're a bunch of old fogies, and all of a sudden we're bringing in money instead of just spending. I mean, I can't go without saying we love what we do, but this COVID has forced us to look at ourselves and say, what are we capable of doing? Now, one member and myself, we now deliver food boxes to people from the food share program once a week. Actually, it's about 5 of us now who are doing it. And because we're seniors, we wear our masks. We try not to see anybody, touch anybody, whatever. But the fact is, I'm feeling great about it. And as much as I hate this COVID thing, I actually almost appreciate what it's done for us because we were stuck in a rut, just doing the usual stuff. So from that point of view, it made us better. I think it made us better people, and therefore it was teaching us how to be leaders because no one knows that course. There is no course on COVID. We just all had to we were beginners. So we all had to learn at the same time. So I'm really proud of our club as, you know, just a bunch of old fogies who wanted to stand up and be counted. And I think that applies to every age, every youth, all degrees of people. I got my kids and my son and daughter-in-law to help us raise money for Terry Fox by swimming 40 laps in the pool this summer. Well, it was lots of fun. And the fact is we raised money. And it was, again, it was something we had never thought of doing before because we're just not that together. So thank you, Rotary.
Thank you, Monica.
Can I say that COVID for us up in Uxbridge, we're a little tiny community. We don't have our morning meetings, obviously, so people are spread out everywhere. And to make sure that some people who might be otherwise socially isolated, we have ladies' happy hour every Tuesday night. And we get a lot of work done, actually, while we're drinking our whatever. We plan all kinds of different fundraisers, and it's very productive.
Got it. Thank you.
May I say something? Oh.
Go ahead, Terry. We will be wrapping up soon, so Terry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think
I think the important word in this is development. I think sometimes as Rotarians, we assume that everyone that comes and joins Rotary are natural leaders. And so you just throw people into the deep end and assume they're just going to be able to tread water, swim, no problem. They're going to do it because they're leaders in, you know, in their work life, and being a Rotarian, you're just a natural leader. And the development and pathway piece is really important because you can teach leadership. And I think especially with our younger members, they'll probably want to learn about how to be a Rotary leader. You know, I'm sure it could be you know, frightening to them or daunting to them when they come into a club or a situation where they have all these individuals who have done so much in Rotary, and maybe they don't see themselves as a leader, and they just need the development and the pathway. And so we shouldn't just assume that everyone is just a natural leader. We should be there to develop them into one.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you. We are just on time, so I'm going to ask everyone to put your comments in the chat. We'll capture them and use them to really validate which way we are going. I just want to spend the last bit of the hour telling you what we are doing, so you'll probably have more questions and comments after that. So with that, let me go on to the next section of the call, which is to introduce our amazing team. Give me 1 minute.
Okay.
So really, it's been my privilege to work with these 8 people. We are a bunch of Rotaractors and Rotarians from different clubs. We've been working together since July. They have been amazing to get, you know, working together. We met about 4 or 5 times maybe, and to get our team organized, and we've just begun. So we have put together a website with what we have so far, so it's easier to show you that. And then I'll have each of the teams introduce what they're doing and give you an update, okay? So with that, I'm going to share with you my screen, and hopefully it all works. So really what we have done so far is to put together why we exist, why were we formed, what's our mandate, who we are as a team, and then we went on to how are we going to measure success? Well, what does success look like for us? What are our goals for this year, short term and long term? And then we're beginning to put together our templates and processes. We haven't started that well, and then eventually we'll look at how to improve and how to create learning and continuous improvement projects. So really, I want to spend a little bit on our mandate. So why the Rotary leadership team created this committee. So we have, I would say, 3 different sections to our mandate. The first one's around the development framework, the leadership development framework, and it's about creating job descriptions with the right competencies and measures of success, and being able to communicate that to the district, to all the Rotarians. The second part's are on recruitment and succession planning. So you heard Valerie speak about bench strength. This was all about making sure that we consciously developed a bench. And then the last one was learning pathways. So about what we do with RLI, what are we doing in doing some practical applied learning for our young leaders or even our mature leaders, so that they can grow. So these are the 3 sections. And we divided ourselves into 3 groups, 3 subcommittees, and we are very small, but so let me just introduce them. So this is the 8 people: Caitlin Almeida, Rain Gillespie, Maliha Khan in the first sub-team, and then Kenneth Chin is taking the lead now. Lynn Wallace was our lead, but she's taken some leave due to medical reasons. And so Kenneth and Sergio Amatlia are the new team, and Kenneth's the new lead. And then the last team is Wali Zia, Khoshid Khan, and I flipped from team to team to support all of them. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Caitlin, and Caitlin, you can take it from here.
Great, thank you, Dhamay. So we are the Leadership Development Framework team, and our committee sub-team is comprised of the 3 individuals that Dhamay noted. So Malia Khan from the Rotaract Club of Toronto Danforth, Rayon Gillespie from the Rotary Club of Whitby, and myself, Caitlin Almeida from the Rotaract Club of Toronto. Our sub-team is focused on developing a leadership development framework over the course of this Rotary year. We have been enthusiastically connecting to come up with a plan to produce a shareable leadership development framework before Rotary year end. Our vision is to develop a framework that helps members of our district's Rotary family conceptualize how different roles within Rotary fit together, the experience needed to support progression, and provide insights on key competencies and measures of success. The intent is to develop a framework that reflects and connects different opportunities across the Rotary structure, opportunities in Rotaract and Rotary clubs, positions with the district, and opportunities with Rotary International, and to help these roles feel increasingly accessible and attainable through enhanced communication and transparency. To this end, we are well on our way to develop a draft leadership framework by December 2020, with clear and transparent development pathways for Rotaractors and Rotarians to progress through leadership positions and leverage opportunities within District 7070 and Rotary International. Additionally, we will be developing a job description template for leadership positions, along with developing job descriptions for a number of district positions, including competencies and measures of success, and ensuring alignment with the draft framework. In the months ahead, we plan to reach out to some club and district leaders to learn more about your roles and collaborate on this work. So please keep an eye out for an email from Malia, Rayon, or myself on this, as we look forward to the opportunities to connect with and to learn more about the great work that's taking place across the district so that we might better reflect it in our work. So thank you for listening to what our sub-team is up to, and I'm pleased to hand it off to Kenneth to provide an overview of his sub-team's work.
Thank you, Caitlin. Our sub-team has 3 members from different Rotary clubs. Wayne Wallace from Etobicoke, Sergio from Toronto, and myself, Kenneth Chin from Markham Unity. Our focus is recruitment and succession planning for leadership positions. Our plan is to develop policies and best practices. Firstly, for an effective recruitment process that increases the participation of Rotaractors in leadership roles. Secondly, our succession planning that ensures the people in these roles reflect the broad diversity of communities in which Rotary serves. Our goal is to ensure we have the recruitment and succession plan in place for leadership position at the district level that enables Rotaractors to become Rotarians and leverages a pool of experienced past AGs and knowledgeable RLI graduates as future leaders by June 2021. Below are what we plan to request from District 7070. To pass a new policy to allow Rotaractors to join Rotary clubs as Rotary members as soon as they graduate from universities. A formally organized a network or pool of past AGs and RLI graduates. We will set timelines to measure the number of Rotaractors that became Rotarians, the number of past AGs and RLI graduates that are part of a network or pool who will continue to participate, the number of key leadership positions that have identified successes, and the percentage of successes for leadership positions which complies with the new diversity equity policy. Our measurement of success is directly dependent on survey results and number reported by District 7070. We will be working closely with our district contacts. At this moment, the above are what we have recommended and aligned within our sub-team. Next up is Koshet, who will share with us what sub-team 3 had been diligently working on.
Thank you, Kenneth. Good evening to you all. This is Khurshid Khan, past President Rotary Club Toronto Danforth. District Leadership Development Committee consists of 3 sub-teams, as you know. Our third sub-team comprised with individuals Walijia and Dhamay Kanthan, chair of the District Leadership Committee, and myself. Our team mandate is learning pathways for leadership positions. As you may know, Rotary's new strategic plan is clear. It is to build a future for Rotary and to develop leadership for the future younger generation by engaging in the Rotary service. To the compliance with RLI, District 7070 is committed to develop future leaders in the Rotary through applied and practical learning pathways with effective coaching and mentoring to the Rotaractors. But the current state is Rotarians are encouraged to attend leadership training programs to become a future leaders. As per new mandate, through the effective, practical and applied leadership learning pathways, Rotaractors will be the future leader in the club as well as in the future Rotary Club. In accordance with RLI, leadership training pathways comprised within 3 stages. Stage 1, we will focus on providing practical leadership training, mentorship from Rotary members to their sponsoring club, and to gain leadership training. Our draft goal is 5 Rotary mentors and 5 Rotaract mentees from each club by December 31st, 2020. In stage 1, we'll emphasize on teaching a behavioral approach to the leadership, which is a set of learnable behaviors, is a set of well-defined behaviors together with a set of well-defined speech habits. After the completion of the training, it will develop trust and confidence and form connections within the Rotary. In stage 2, our focus will be to ensure the Rotaract members that attended this training session will lead events, meetings, activities with each of their own Rotaract club. Then individuals will be able to engage in strategic planning, analysis, active communications, and leadership and team building. But time frame is by February 2021. Finally, in stage 3, Rotaract members along with their Rotary mentors will lead the events, activities within their sponsoring Rotary Club and their own Rotaract Club. Time frame by June 2021. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. And so that's really a very quick update from the 3 sub-teams. They're small but mighty. They've done a lot of work, and you can see each one of them has their own take on what to do to develop the leaders. So it's really been a pleasure working with them and getting it all together so we can move forward. So we're taking small steps, some small, some big. And we really, all of this doesn't really work at all unless we have your voice in it and your support. And otherwise it would be just work that we do, but it doesn't transition into the district. So we'll be reaching out to you. And if you are interested in being our sounding board or want to contribute, we would love to hear from you. So you can reach out to any of us on this committee. And we meet often, at least once a month, and we have different topics to engage with. So please join us when you have something to contribute. And so with that, I'm going to hand it to Caitlin to wrap up because we are close to the hour.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dhamay. Thank you to the team, and thank you, everyone. So recognizing we still have a few minutes before 8 o'clock, I really would like to open the floor. And of course, the chat is open. If you have any comments or questions that you would like to provide, I know somebody had reached out to me to share their contact information. So feel free to message me privately if you wish to do that. Otherwise, feel free to message the group as a whole with any questions or comments, or raise your hand and unmute yourself and ask your question that way.
And the other thing is, Beth, I don't know if you want to use the time to let people know about the next Tuesday talk.
Yeah, we do want to have a few minutes to do that, Dhamay. Thank you. And
Okay.
Mark will be doing that at the conclusion of this session.
All right.
Thank you, Beth. Dhamay, we do have one question about the website, being
Okay.
where can this group find the website? Is it currently publicly available, or is it
No.
something that's open to the group possibly?
We put that together to like sound cool and accomplished, but it's still in the works, and we some of the ideas we haven't taken it back to the leadership team to get it sanctioned off, but it's ready. Once we have everybody agreed that the content's good, we'll work with the district to put it on the district website, and so you can have a look at it. So we can take that within the month. It'll be up, and we'll send you a link to that. The folks on this call. Right now, it's still a private website. And who do I talk to, by the way, Mark, about putting that up, creating a link for it? You or
either Dave Andrews or
okay.
And Daryl Patterson's also our info management chair. So so Dave can easily put a link on there. I look forward to seeing it.
Okay. You saw some of it today as we were going through that. That is all we have so far. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Do we want to take the next, just conscious of time, do you want to take the next couple minutes to plug next November's session?
Do you want me to do that, or do you want Bob to do it?
I can do it, and I'll just say thank you to Dhamay. So
sure,
when we were kicking this committee off and we were putting this team together, and Dhamay as leader, we were doing the right thing, and I'm just really happy with the way things are going. So congratulations, Dhamay, and to your team. You're taking us down the right direction, so really appreciate that. So this is our 4th Tuesday Talks, and once again, very successful. I think we almost hit 100 people, and so that's fantastic. Next Tuesday Talks is on November 10th, and this is on behalf of Bob Wallace, who's the chair of the Foundation Committee, and they're going to be talking about raising foundation dollars during the COVID time. So it'll be another interesting session. And Bob will be bringing on Brenda Cressy, and Brenda's Rotary Foundation trustee. And she has served in several key roles for Rotary International and the Rotary Foundation over the years, including serving as the first woman Rotary Foundation trustee chair in 2018-19, and will continue her 4-year trustee term through 21. So that should be another exciting Tuesday Talks. Bob, I'm just going to put you on the spot here. Do you want to mention anything as well on the Rotary Foundation discussion next Tuesday Talks on November 10th?
There, I just unmuted myself. Yeah, I'm excited to have been talking to Brenda, and she's going to join us, and we can talk about the work of the foundation, in particular the work that she's doing as a trustee for the Rotary Foundation. The other thing that Mark, you covered it very well, what we're going to do Tuesday Talks. The other thing to highlight is the foundation walk. We've been working diligently to try and put together something for the foundation walk, and with the changes in the numbers with COVID and getting together, it just proved too difficult to have an actual face-to-face walk in the beaches area of Toronto. So the idea what we're doing is asking clubs to put together their own walk sometime in the next 6 weeks, and raise money for the foundation and do something unique in their own community, whether it's virtual, whether it's real, walking together or highlighting something, do something like that. There is a link on the district website so that you can, each club can tell us all about what they're doing, the date, the number of people walking, the theme if there's one, and dollars raised and number of participants, all those sorts of things, so that we can kind of amalgamate that all into an overall. And then hopefully with the COVID numbers will go down, and we'll be able to get together for a real walk in the spring when we can all get together, hopefully. So those are the two things. Look forward to what we're doing for walks, and look forward to the discussion on November the 10th.
And Bob, Bob, you didn't
Yes.
mention there's a bit of a challenge of the district, right? So there'll be 3
Yes.
prizes given out for the highest amount collected for the foundation dollars. Most steps walked by a club. I guess they can use digital tracking of that as well. And most creative ways to raise money for the foundation walk. So we'll be looking, I know there's numerous, talking to presidents, there's numerous clubs that are holding their own walk. I know Whitby Sunrise, my own club, is doing scattered sessions so that they don't exceed the 25-person limit. So they let a certain number of people go, and then 20 minutes later or 50 minutes later, they'll let another batch go. So there's a lot of creative ways that presidents are telling me that they're going to have their own foundation walks in their own communities, and particularly this weekend coming. So it should be an exciting time.
Yes, it should.
Can I just share a quick one? That's Mommy from
Hi,
Ghana.
Mommy.
Hi. We also had a walk recently, I think about 2 weeks ago, and was a COVID compliant walk. So what we did was that it was a big area, one of the university campuses, and we started at 6 a.m. So when you had a group of people, about 5 people get there at a time, they start walking. So you had different people walking at different times, and then we all kind of converged later. But then it was kind of interesting walking by people that you knew were part of your team because they were wearing the same t-shirt. And so that's kind of how we did it. But that was just at the club level, not at the level though.
So great to see you, Mame, and thank you for that. For those who don't know, Mame is now a honorary District 7070 member. So it's Nigeria, right, that you're calling in from?
From Ghana.
Sorry, my apologies. Ghana. And so she is a honorary 707 member, and you've been here now for, I think, each of the Tuesday talk sessions. So it's always great to see you, Mame.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been great. Thank you.
All right. Are we ready to wrap up then? Beth, any last words from yourself or anybody on the call?
Just to thank Dhamay and the Leadership Development Committee for a great presentation tonight, and we look forward to hearing more of the great work that you have planned in the coming months.
Thank you, Beth, and thank you, Mark, and everyone for the opportunity, and also the amazing team who actually did all the work. So thank you.
And a big
thanks to everybody for joining us.
And big thanks to Val Wafer. I think I see you 3 times a week now, Val, on calls, but it's always great to see you. So thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, everyone.
And with that said, have a great night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bob, are we meeting on another meeting?
I think we're staying on, aren't we, Mark?
Yes.
With Patty?
Yes.
I have a question for somebody. Mark, could we get the chat downloaded by any chance? Is that possible?
I think
Yes.
I saved it.
You did that?
Did
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Somebody saved it, and of course, we will get the link, which should be on the district site probably in the next few days. If Charles is online, that's something he normally does in a couple of days after.
Okay. All right.
Yes, should be up shortly.
All right.
Thanks,
okay,
Charles.
Then, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, Coach Shed and Caitlin and everybody else. Bye.
Good work, Dhamay and committee.